millions of... Is that coming through? Yeah. All right, how are you doing? Thank you for listening to the live, if you're listening. Just another update following on from my update yesterday on the channel. Obviously this is a live. Yesterday I talked about I'm going to start doing some long forms again, more long forms, like recorded videos, edited videos, which I will be doing. But I'm just going to do another update because it's the first time I've been able to sit outside. I can't believe the amount of rain over the last couple of weeks here. It's like, even yesterday I came out Sunday morning, I've been training early, come outside, weather were great, did my journal. I thought, oh, perfect, let's do a live stream from here. It started pissing it down, so I had to go in. So anyway, we're out. So first garden live in a while, which is decent. Yesterday, just recap, got the notes here. Talked about the fact that I have done a lot of live streams over the last few months. The reason for it is because they're easy to do. You don't have to edit anything or prepare anything. So once you get in the habit of it, they're very easy to do. And also with a live stream, it's great practice for, you don't get to rehearse, you don't get a second chance, so you can't edit it. So it's great practice to just sort of go with it without preparation. But I did say that I will be doing some updates on, I did a video on the 7 mental models for success, which I say you should, you need these generic mental models, are like skills that just apply to, you know, you can carry through life, and that they're transferable into any industry, that I think you should develop. And I did that video, 7 mental models for success. And what I'm going to do is now a proper recorded video, an edited video on each of those 7 mental models, which are when to respond to text and emails, which is about matching and mirroring. Advanced communication techniques such as active listening. This is stuff I learned from Scott. Basically persuading people and, you know, negotiating in all areas of life. Next one is understanding the buyer-seller dynamic. Why you want to be ideally putting yourself in the position of the buyer, because it's stronger. The next one would be the best goal achievement system, which is my 3-step system, which I've developed from various mentors, including my coach, Tony Robbins, and also journaling and things that I've learned. And then how to market, next one, how to market any product or service. This is my take on digital marketing. I've had to learn a lot about this, including the differences between paid and organic traffic, search engine optimization, all that. I'm not professing to be an absolute expert in this arena, but as someone that, you know, day to day, I do a lot of this stuff. And I speak to a lot of people, and I always see where the gaps are in their approach. The next one, the attributes you need to start a business and become successful. In there, I'm going to talk about you needing passion in business, because if not, you will give up, and all sorts of other things like grit. I did an article actually on the Goal Achievement Hub website, which is about 9 traits. Go and have a look at that. And the other video, the other 7th mental model, is how to attain personal sovereignty, and that is living life on your terms, which is kind of overarching really. This is what you're aiming at. I then also said that I'll do 3 other videos, one which is an SEO Masterclass, one which is about the business scorecard, which comes from the entrepreneurial operating system. And the purpose of that, I've got my own way of doing it. The purpose of that is so you can predict the future in your business, look at metrics, track metrics. It's quite quick to do and it's very useful. And then the final one, I said I'd do a daily routine video, because this is what I'm doing now, and it's very important. Okay, so I'm going to do an update on all those videos, as in like a dedicated video and link back to the overall overarching 7 mental models for success video. But something that I thought I'd talk about today, which came up yesterday when I was in the live, was the first one. First mental model about matching and mirroring for communication. So when to respond to texts and emails. And I mentioned yesterday that a friend of mine has been messaging me about this topic in relation to dating, right? Now, it kind of relates to, it relates to everything: business, dating, family, absolutely everything, because you're always dealing with, you know, the human psyche, right? So when to respond to people and understanding matching and mirroring, there's an element of matching and mirroring that is almost like, it's good for the conversation, as in make the conversation flow and things, and it's like, it's good collaboration to be matching each other and putting in equal effort, you know. That's how good relationships are built, including business relationships. Yeah, so if you're in business, or if you've got a client, or if you're the client, or whatever, right, or you're doing a partnership and you're always slow to respond and they're really quick, it's kind of not right, you know what I mean? So you need to pick up the cadence bit. Similar if it's the other way around, you're responding and maybe it's a buyer, you know, client or a prospective client, you're trying to make a sale and you're being too eager. It's almost, you're being too eager, you know, you're chasing them a little bit and they're taking ages to come back to you and they won't sign up to your offer and things like this. It puts you on the back foot and it's almost like you're desperate for the sale. In the dating space, that would be chasing the other person, which kind of turns them off. And it's the same in business and in sales. Now, like I say, this guy, my friend, was asking me questions about his dating life. So apps, you know, dating apps. It's fucking winter. It's difficult to meet people, so it's winter. So he's on the apps, right? And he said he's struggling, and he's trying to make excuses for it. He's not getting any matches or whatever, right? And he's struggling because, and he's making the excuse that he's in the wrong location. And if somehow he'd move location, he'd miraculously get, you know, the girl of his dreams. And I was telling him, no, it's not that, because, you know, you can get matches from fucking 70 miles away. It's irrelevant. Or you can move your location and things like this. Or if you travel about to a new location, you know, you can still get matches to every location. So I told him that it's likely to be something else. And so he shared his profile. I had a look at his profile. His images are good. The guy is like, he's a professional musician. He looks the business, right? He looks really good, really sharp. A little bit skinny, needs to, you know, put some muscle on and stuff. And he's like 6.5 feet tall or something crazy, like he's really tall. So it's like, hang on, and he's younger, like, now obviously too young doesn't always work for guys. You want to be at a sweet spot, but he's at a good age and everything. And it's like, on paper, you should be fucking killing it, right? There are a few things with his profile that I mentioned, and I'm not an expert in this. Joel and Jaron, you know, my mates over in Mexico City, they coach on this stuff. And I know other people as well that coach on it. Chris, you know, Chris as well. Busy becoming myself. He does a bit. He's not doing much of it now, but he does do a bit. But anyway, I had a look at his profile, and then it came down to his messaging. Right, the way he's approaching messaging. And so I said to him, what's your standard opener? Right. I think I've done a live on this before. I said, what's your standard message opener to a girl if you're trying to attract a girl? And he said, oh, I really study the pictures and try and come up with some little fucking bespoke detail every time, like studying the profile of the girl and then trying to like pick out one little detail and really come up with something really smart and clever. And I was like, okay, that's a problem. That's to me, that's a problem, right? And it's more a mindset. It's less about what the content of the message is, It's more the mindset. It's like, so I said to him, this is a bit related to the buyer-seller dynamic. So, in that regard, he's definitely the seller. He's trying to impress the girl with a witty comment, right? Hoping that she'll get back to him. It's obvious that he's a seller there, right? It's written all over him. She can probably sense it. So I said to him, you want to put yourself in the position of being the buyer, right, in this interaction. Even though you're the guy making the opening message, you're throwing out the opener, you still want to be putting yourself in the buyer. And how can you do that? Well, I think whenever I see someone trying to overthink a text message like that to attract someone and really, really go into the detail, like it's too try hard to me. It's overthinking, and it signals two things. One, that, you know, it is too try hard, and two, you've got too much time on your hands to look at all the detail. And I said to him, there's a balance here. I think you'll be far better coming up with one standard opener, maybe one or two standard openers that you can cast out to everyone, right? The idea is you cast out a standard opener and see who bites and go from there, because you're only interested in someone that's interested in you. So you're not going to waste your time trying to get that, you know, study that one profile and come up with that one little detail, that little fucking necklace or whatever that's going on in that picture. Instead of doing that, just cast a standard opener out, and if she bites, she bites. If she doesn't, they're all getting the same treatment. Now, if it's too standard and gamey, I think that can be, so all you need to do is build your opener so you swap out one word, and it might just be a name, right? Just a name. So build a standard opener, which you just swap out the name, and everyone gets the same thing, and then you see who bites, right? Because what I said to him was, when I see people doing that, it looks to try hard, and you're definitely the seller. So how do you switch yourself to being the buyer? You switch yourself to being a buyer with the mindset of, I haven't got fucking time to individually analyse in detail. I'm going to come up with something that's cheeky and witty, proper like cocky, you know, and out there and bold. And your aim with that bold message is to polarise everyone. So if you're a guy, you're trying to polarise a woman to make an instant decision, does she like you or not? But you ain't spending time analysing it, and that will do it. And that's what I said to him. And I said to him, if you think about the hot girl, right, any hot girl, right? When you're messaging a hot girl, does she ever overthink that fucking message and come back to you with something super witty or clever? No, never. It's always something straight, plain, short, not much deep thought into it. It's nice, but it's pleasant and it depends. The hot girl that's got, like, hasn't got, because you have a lot of hot girls that have not got self-esteem. The hot girl that's not got self-esteem, it'll be very cold and short. The girl that's got, hot girl that's, you know, well put together, very nice girl, will put something really pleasant, but it'll be not too try hard, never overthinking. And that's the point. And I said to him, what does the hot girl do? Do they try too hard? Do they overthink it? No, they don't. Therefore, that's what you should do. And that's how I analysed it. So the idea was, build a standard opener. Now that's just, you know, messaging a girl on a dating app, right? But he'll get better results than that. But the bigger, you know, the bigger mindset here that we're talking about for, I said it was about matching and mirroring and when to respond to texts and emails. It's more the buyer-seller dynamic. This, the bigger mindset on the buyer-seller dynamic is putting yourself in the position of the buyer. So it's like I told him on his profile, you need to look like a buyer, right? You don't need to explain yourself. Don't be explaining yourself in the bio about everything that you've achieved and stuff like this in your text. Let the pictures do the talking, right? And the little bits of metadata. So the fact that you should be making it obvious that you're a musician, right? He's a classical musician, you know what I mean? He playing all these instruments, looks fucking brilliant, sounds good. Make that obvious. Hardly anyone has that. And when he's on stage in that, you know, violin, he's a king. Make that obvious through the pictures, right? Or maybe in the metadata, but not in the bio, you know, just put something simple in the bio, and that's it. So you create your profile to look like you've got a good lifestyle, you've got it all going on, you know, you're not a nobody, you know how to dress well, all that kind of, not me today, I'm in my scruffs because I'm in garden. I usually do dress smart. Never leave the house without a smart jacket. Anyway, I'm justifying myself there, aren't I? Yeah, I don't need to. But yeah, you get the idea. I told him he's got to put himself in the position of the buyer with the profile. And also, with the way he communicates. So that one standard opener thing, you know, it's cheeky. It's tailored maybe a little bit, but it's not too try hard. That's it. He has to make the first move, but he's not, you know, it's not needy. And that's it. And it's the same, you could say it's the same in marketing. What's different, you know, in business, in marketing, it might be, you know, indirect selling, marketing, you know. Another thing that I said to him was, I not really use dating apps, not use dating apps, you know, just don't. But when I have, I told him I got good results. And I said to him, mate, right, I'm getting nothing. I was like, well, I find it easy. And it's dead easy. And it's like, I said, yeah, just, you know, wherever, if I'm using one, don't like them. But if you ever use one or whatever, if you ever have in the past, whatever city I'm in, I just get new fucking matches. And I said to him, so I said, wherever I go, you know, go on holiday, get new matches. So I said, location, he's trying to blame it on location. I said, it's not location, right? Because you can get matches from fucking 50 miles away. It's not. I said to him, it's the way, it's your profile, the pictures, the subtext, and what you're communicating. It's the buyer-seller dynamic. And I did say, if you look at, so I explained what I would put on a profile and all that kind of thing. And I said, look, on paper, you're taller than me, right? He's like 6'5", this guy. He's fucking really tall. I'm 6 foot, he's like 6'5". I said, you're taller than me, younger than me, right? You look great, and you're more, I don't know. I mean, there are differences. Like, he said, well, you've got muscle. I said, yeah, fix that, right? Fix it. There's one thing you've spotted. He's skinny. Put some weight on. Go to the gym. Start working out. That's something you can fix. It's not an excuse. And then the other one is, oh, well, you put CEO on you. I said, yeah, because I've started a fucking business. Well, I've got 2. It's like, yeah, that's probably attractive. That's something you can fix. Go and start your own, or what? I'm saying that like it's easy, but so look, you don't need to be a business owner. You want to be making the best of what you've got, which is you're a fucking brilliant, talented musician, and you're not making the most of it. You know, it doesn't. It kind of conveys it because there was a picture on there, but you've got to create status. He needs to create more status in his profile. But I said to him, it ain't location that you're making the excuse. It's those things. It's everything else. It's how you communicate, what your profile says about you, everything. Belter strummer. Yeah. Anyway, that was that on buyer-seller dynamic. So I am going to be doing a proper video on this. I should have saved it for the video. Yeah, and that's it really. Something else on the buyer-seller dynamics. I'm going to wrap up. I said to him, why do we put ourselves in the position of the buyer in all things that we do in life rather than the seller? So in business, I'm selling. Of course I'm the seller. But to tip it, you've got to add sort of perceived value, because every exchange, whether it's relationships, business exchange, anything that interaction with another human in this world is an exchange of values. So in the business world, yes, you might be the seller, but you're giving a lot of value for money in return, which is the opposite value. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to give a good service, all that kind of thing. But why do we want to always be putting ourselves in the position of the buyer? Because we want to be making choices based on what is in accordance with what we want out of life. So I always say you create an identity for yourself, and then you live according to it every day. So you live in accordance with your identity. So that means you're making choices, little small choices every day that are in alignment with your identity, which is the life that you want. Right? And this is, I'd say, the last video, which is about personal sovereignty. So personal sovereignty is living life on your terms. And you could say even that little behaviour, correcting his behaviour on that dating app thing with the messaging, put himself into the position of the buyer, is living life on his terms, because yes, he might want a girlfriend or whatever, but not at any cost. You know what I mean? He should be trying to yeah, all right, we're back. So he should be trying to select someone that fits with his identity and what he wants out of life. So you're always a buyer. You're always making choices for you. And that is it. Let's have a look at this comment. Love the Home Alone gloves. Yeah, to be honest, when I'm sat outside, I'm just in the garden. So I'm not really, it's not a fashion job when I'm here, just reading. So I use these just because they're warm. I need to write and, read books and things, so you need fingerless gloves. Yeah, I've got some really fancy ones when I go out, I've got some like mega expensive, like the leather, but really well fitted. And inside it's like cashmere wool. And they're fucking beautiful. Like they're quite slimline, like fitted. But the leather lined with cashmere, and they're absolutely luxury, you know what I mean? They're for like when you go out on a nice dinner with your nice fancy smart jacket. So yeah, I've got some big thermal gloves as well, like massive, like ones for the Arctic. But these are just, Home Alone gloves. I love that comment. Yeah, they're just, so I can still do stuff like mess with the phone and. Oh, something out quick. I know we're going way off topic now. Something I've just got into. Sorry, I've been into this my whole life. Do you know Citadel miniatures? I've been into these forever. So I've been digging out these. This is a Space Marine. I think it's called a Dreadnought. So you model them and paint them. Warhammer 40,000 basically. I've been into this stuff forever since I was a kid, and I got some. Somebody bought me this recently. You can't see what it is, but Orc Big Mech with shock attack gun. It's the new one. So I remember having the old one years ago, and the old one was metal. It used to be metal figures, didn't they? And now if you've seen these now, the plastic material is that advanced now, and that like kind of, the detail on the plastic they can get is so good that they don't need to go on metal anymore. So this used to be a metal figure, this Orc Big Mech with shock attack gun, but it's now plastic. So I've got the new one, and when I got this, I decided to get I've got loads of them like armies. I decided to get all my old figures out. I'm going to give it a go again. You got to like cut them up and model them, and it's so good. It takes a lot of time, but I've got a really good one, like the captains, and I've spent forever, little fucking microscope and painting eyes and hands and little details and stuff. I mean, this is not mega detailed, but there are some details on it, you know. So yeah, bit of a side topic, but I'm gonna be getting back into that. Mr. Van Dyke, how's Mary Poppins going? One. No idea. Right, I'm gonna have to go because I've got a lot of prep to do, got some meetings. So yeah, remember, buyer seller dynamic. Always be the buyer. Yeah? Okay, take it easy. Thanks for listening, and see you all next time.